Alright, we're back, and I think I've got everything set up as it was. Best way that I'll get back into this is to just dive right back in. So, we were playing Halo Wars, we'll continue the campaign, and then I'll catch you up on everything. Before I start, just let me say, sorry it's been a while, I know it gets like that, I'm very irresponsible and easily let out of things, but we'll properly get moving, then we'll talk about that.
So, it's an energy shield that they can deploy on the planet.
Yes, Captain. We can't see through it, but the Covenant are up to something.
Agreed. We need to find out what that is. Can we use the ship's cannons and take it out directly?
We may destroy whatever's under there. Covenant shield technology is susceptible to superheated plasma. Aren't we field testing some plasma-based rhinos?
Pillar of Autumn inventory shows they have some prototypes.
Yeah, there's nothing for me to say here of great interest. Just look at the graphics for a second. Admire that.
Sergeant Forge, let's get that shield down.
Babysitting again?
I just noticed there's a reflective sheen on his armor and he's got an ace shoved into his shoulder pad. Never saw that before. A lot of detail. And there's Anders inside in the little dome next to our base. I think that's a bit neat. I like this level. It's nice and slow. It's nice and slow. I'll be able to talk a lot shortly, so just bear with me. Pew. Oh shit, look out. Bam. Not very exciting looking blowing apart into pieces, but oh well. Xbox game, it can only render so much. Let's fire up. Okay, here we go. We're playing the goddamn game. Let me just look at the options. Maybe I'll turn the sound down even more. There we go. Don't talk over me, game. I'm busy. Let them talk a bit more, then we'll get into things.
Data from the shelling proved we're on the right track, but we'll need to simultaneously launch from multiple rhinos.
Sir? Yes, sir. Roger that. On the way.
This is a nice little dynamic level where we have this slow burning building up scenario of needing to knock down the big shield, and that's just something we can do at our own pace. It's one of those old strategy game levels which is very much just kind of they're there, and provided they don't completely kill you off the map, you can just get them eventually, and you're kind of under a light siege the whole time while working at it. I always found that a pleasing setup. Some games are practically built around that scenario, and I always like those a lot, like American Conquest is a game which is basically mostly that. But, anyway, you probably aren't super excited about Halo Wars. It's not the most exciting thing. It was meant to be an easy project I could keep up with. And it's still kind of doing its job. Right now it's serving as the easy project I can bear to get back into to, yeah, just get back to you all, because I've kind of let this whole project down. Yeah, so let me fill you guys in on where we've been and what's been going on. You may have seen that my war with the woke has intensified. I was really industrious with writing those reviews on Backlogged, the video game equivalent to Letterboxd, basically. That started almost as a joke, but ended up being something I was quite happy doing. It was getting a lot of good work out of me, and I really enjoyed doing it. I liked their list feature a lot. I still keep my lists up. Just because of how the site is constructed, you can still see some of what I put up there, but basically the moderation staff decided they absolutely despise me and started basically deleting my work piece by piece. I wasn't going to have that, so I went and confronted them and basically said, hey, I think this is really unfair. I'm not doing what you think I'm doing when I say these things. I'm making serious critical arguments and you're being absurd and unfair, and yeah, these are not flexible or open-minded people. They don't even like video games. They're the classic moderator type. Everywhere you go, moderator is the same class of person. you go to Letterboxd, it's not people who particularly like movies, it's people who particularly like being moderators. So, yeah, they don't like me for various reasons. They're probably pretty angry that I come off as smarter than them, and they can, even though I do actually think I behave myself quite well, they probably got the impression, I can't say inaccurately, that I am a very kind of chud-coded individual. They can tell that I don't have sympathies for what you're meant to have sympathy for. I don't fear taboos that are meant to be respected over there. You know, all up, they just decided I'm really not like them, and they only want the site to be a lame little clubhouse for them and their friends to just blog and waste time on. Very obnoxious people, but they have the run of things, and they decided, yeah, it's our site, not yours, get out, Anthony. So a lot of stuff I wrote down got swept away, which is pretty upsetting, but, you know, despite that, I kept the writing. It's still there on paper, we didn't lose it, but what I lost was just a big front-facing project that I put a lot of effort into, and I lost something which, yeah, brought good work out of me very easily. And yeah, YouTube, a lot of people like what I do here, but I don't know what it is, guys. It just doesn't come as easily to me, but I know some of you do value this, and I've been meaning to get back into it, make myself like it, and want to do it. And generally, I do like talking and building up the momentum, so here we are again. Hopefully we get a run, and since I don't have as much else to be doing, hopefully this just kind of prompts me up and keeps me moving. Gee, this thing caught fire at very little damage, didn't it? But yeah, I'm not idle, I'm never idle. I've got a few other things going on I can tell you about, which are somewhat interesting, maybe. Lately, just the last few days, as in, I've been amusing myself, just provoking the people at RPG Codex who are really not so bad. I have nothing against them. They're pretty decent to me, considering they don't like me on a pretty fundamental level. Well, it seems like a lot of them would ban me if they could, but the moderators, they recognize I have something to say and like having me around. They probably find a bit of their own user base exasperating. What I can say for them, relative to all the other places I just mentioned, my rule does not actually hold. The RPG Codex people, there is no real, like, general power in running that site. The people there are there because they, at least in their own minds, think they really love video games and RPGs, and some of them, yeah, they actually do want to have serious talks they can't have elsewhere, and they respect that when I get provocative and annoy a bunch of people, I'm trying to do exactly that, so no, I should not be banned. So shout out to the good people at RPG Codex. I linked one of my videos, but one which isn't very obviously me there, so still, just through that, some of them might have found this channel, so if any of those guys found this channel, hello, shout out to RPG Codex. I actually do quite like you guys, and I'm very grateful for the open operation you guys run, and the fact that none of you have banned me yet. I am very, very appreciative of that, and I do enjoy the talks we have over there. I think it brings a fair bit out of me. It gets me industrious, and yeah, as I was kind of just saying, it's anything that gets me working and doing stuff very easily, I'm very grateful for. I think that's very valuable. I'm not stupid, I know that. It's not that I'm in danger of not having anything to say, it's that I'm in danger of basically losing the will to speak for 100 different reasons. I really like these levels, which are just built up in this big fixed way, and they have little places you can take over. These look cool. I like putting soldiers in them. This whole level is just, as I was saying about progressively getting out from your foothold and taking over the whole goddamn thing. So we're just going to, as we go, throw these fully upgraded Marines into different strong points and, yeah, just get more and more secure in our position. I went and built up an anti-air thing. I can talk about the game in general, but is there anything I need to tell you? So what's been going on? I had some momentum going. I was riding in different places. The videos fell off a bit, but I was doing stuff. Backlogged was going great, and then the woke purged me, as they're inclined to do. Oh yes, this is rather important. A lot of you have found it already, but I really meant to bounce back hard immediately after getting banned from Backlogged, and one of the first things I did that was meant to be a foundation for, like, shooting right back here and other stuff was, yeah, I made a Discord server just to immediately grab back onto contact with the few people I had known from Backlogged who were, yeah, just, like, making little, like, mini forum threads under the reviews I was making. Like, there was a lot of writing in those, and yeah, people who really liked what I was doing were tracking me across reviews, asking questions, and we were just trying to talk and having a good time like you can't really elsewhere because the gaming internet sucks, as I'm sure you all know. We were having a really good time doing that, and I didn't want to lose contact with those people, so yeah, I made a Discord, and I've done that before, and it kind of became a general hangout place, which disillusioned me, so I deleted it, but thought, yeah, there's people I need to hold on to contact with. We don't have other points of contact, a lot of these nice people I was meeting from Backlogged, so we made a new kind of general Anthony Project Discord server where, in addition to this, you can also catch up to other things I'm doing. I'm just doing things like linking forums where I'm currently posting, or where I have before, just linking anything that serves as kind of an archive of writing. Oh yeah, someone was nice and made a EPUB of all of the reviews I wrote for Backlogged, so that's, you know, like probably a few dozen pages of writing just about if you're into what I do. And yeah, why I got onto the videos is because I do think I can write, and it's very much kind of an intention behind the project that I think, yeah, anyone who can just kind of hold your attention on videos so that you know you're not being bamboozled, basically. Writing is just a good way to test the ideas on their own, and going on video, just kind of letting your thoughts run live, I think is a good test in the other direction, making sure there's something organic to your thought. I don't really trust anybody who can present well in writing but not on video, or in video but not in writing, you know. Jacob Geller, like, doctors every word he says in post-production and stitches it all together afterwards because he's an imbecile who can only really come off as intelligent. Even then, I would say only to stupid people. He sounds terrible, I think, in video. But yeah, he likes video because he can control everything, and he probably doesn't write a lot because he just doesn't have much to say. Even though actually you can control writing very much as well. My point I'm getting at is that you're live when you're speaking, and when you're writing you are... Well, when you edit, you are basically writing, but I have a live thing and a cultivated thing, and you can see how I come off in each, and yeah, decide for yourself if something doesn't seem right between them. For a contrasting example, Icycom is terrible on video. He's just not interesting to watch, and it kind of blows my mind that some of the most interesting guys writing about video games just can't make an interesting show of actually handling them. I don't mean like, oh, he's slow at getting the stars in Mario 64. I mean like, why aren't there basically these videos but by him? I want to see him like speak his mind and give me a tour of a video game he cares about, but that either hasn't occurred to him or he can't do it, and yeah, that just kind of genuinely bothers me. I think it's a legitimate reason to doubt him. And so here I am, I put the bag on the table. You can see my thoughts playing out live, and if you've wondered, you know, am I just Asmongolding you? Do I just have the gift of the gab? Well, yeah, go to the Discord server and look up my backlog reviews and see how I come off there when I was doing my big enthusiastic writing game-by-game project. Really am sore that they deleted that. It was getting good work out of me, but we're not going to let the woke win. This just means I have to reload, recalibrate, re-engage. As my hero Jocko Willink told me, this is actually very good that this happened. Somehow. Oh, well, we'll make it good. It's... Okay, Anthony, they deleted your backlog. That means you have to finish the goddamn Halo Wars series. That's how this becomes good. So yeah, if I didn't make it clear, in my channel description, I should probably also just put it in my video descriptions as a matter of course. If you look in the channel description for now though, you'll find a Discord server link. If you don't have Discord, don't worry, you just click it and it tells you to enter a username. Don't worry, nobody's gonna make fun of you, just make it a bunch of numbers or letters for now if you want. yeah, you can just go in there and find me and my friends talking about whatever. And I'm trying not to just make it the place where me and my friends just talk about whatever. I want it to be a place where some bleeding edge video game discourse can happen. And the best way that I can do that is, of course, by, feeding it myself by actually making these goddamn videos. So, yeah, here I am trying to make good on my own project. And yeah, now that all of that's done, I can actually talk about the game. I hope this has been, even if you're just treating this as like a podcast episode or something, if you don't look at the video, that doesn't really bother me, but if you have been, I hope this has been decently interesting background footage just while I've been talking, not really engaging with it. Do you find Halo Wars interesting in action? I'm just broadly curious. So yeah, the last thing I'll say about the, last housekeeping thing, or whatever you want to call it, just catching up on getting you guys caught up. Any of you who have, talked to me in comments, I really love it when you do that. I love being able to just talk to people who actually care about this stuff, actually talk. Yeah, definitely if you like engaging with me and you like these videos, you want to ask me things or just engage at length with ideas that come up in these, or draw them out, follow up questions, develop them yourself, please do just join the thing and ask me literally anything. I am very, very happy when people want to talk about this stuff. It's why I'm here. It's not about me, it's about the video game science, which is bigger than any of us. So I might actually pay some attention to the game now and just talk about it and games, and we'll just carry on like this whole episode of me getting depressed and distracted didn't happen, pretend it didn't take me 3 months to make another goddamn video. Let's fire up! I do actually enjoy these things once I get going, and I'm sorry that I had to just basically diverge from the point of these videos. I considered making a pure update one, but I thought, no, we'll properly get the momentum going if we jump onto Halo Wars. There are a few games I think would be good for general vlog updates. What would be my, DBDR, just talking game? Probably World of Shooting. It's got that nice, doesn't really matter what I'm doing aspect to it, but it's also kind of generally just really interesting in action. But this game's got a fair bit going on, and I imagine you won't really hold it against me if I'm not paying maximal respect to Halo Wars in action at any given time. I like this game decently, but it's not the most interesting thing in the world, and that's probably a decent way to segue into actually talking about the damn thing. Let me just drink a bit more of my coffee and we'll get on that. Yes, I do drink coffee at midnight Australian time. I hope my voice doesn't sound funny or anything. I don't try to be quiet or anything, because I record these at funny times. It's more just I'm naturally a quiet person and I feel kind of uncomfortable speaking into a microphone. Not in the sense I'm afraid of being judged, but just when there's no person in front of me, it's what do I kind of regulate the volume of my speech to? I should work out what's an optimal standard of volume for YouTube, but I'm very bad at production. I really get very little done. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was meant to tell you. Speaking of production, sorry. I was on a podcast in late December, early January, and I've been meaning to upload it this whole time. And the last thing I was meant to do, it's already been up and you can listen to it elsewhere. I've linked it in a few places, but I haven't mentioned it here because I haven't even done a video since. I was on episode 4 of Vill's podcast, Conversations with Prostitutes, it is called. Don't worry, you won't have to look it up. I'll put it on this channel very shortly, I promise. Yeah, he was nice enough to, he saw the original Halo series and said hey, this is great, do you want to get on and talk about this? I'm trying to run a podcast that's a successor to Tech Wars, Cantbot's podcast from before he became a whatever he's doing now. And I thought, yeah, that sounds alright. It's, if you're interested in Halo and what I did, I haven't really laid out a mission statement in one place or really given the full Halo thesis in one place, and it was a very good opportunity to do that, and I think I did a decent job of each. I'd like to think so, and I'd be curious what you think if you haven't already seen it, so yeah, that's linked in the Discord server as well, but yeah, it'll be up on YouTube shortly, so you'll just be able to see it here very easily, and yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy that as well. It, I think, went quite well, and yeah, just sorry, was that all I had to tell you, just that I was on that podcast and it's gonna go on this channel? Yes, what brought it to mind was just that there was one last thing I had to do, and that was get a thumbnail. I was talking to someone who does a lot of graphic design work for the forum, and he said he might do one, and I forgot to get back to him on that. Oh yeah, and that's another thing I forgot to tell you, because I'm just very bad at this, you see. When you wait this long to talk, so much accrues. And we haven't even gotten into the game-related stuff, all the different concepts I've been developing on the decks and elsewhere. More things I've been meaning to tell you related to how we can talk about video games. So much to do, I have been slacking very hard in my duties to you nice people. The other thing I wanted to say was the forum, not Amana, the other thing. If you like listening to me and you're not there, that's probably an error on my part, you should be, so that we don't advertise as openly, but yeah, how can you get into that? Well, I would say join the Discord and ask me about it if you're not there and you think you might like to be. We run a pretty serious text-based forum where I do regularly pages-long effort posts about video games and culture and just things that interest me. The kinds of things I talk about in relation to games on this channel. So I love posting on other people's forums, places like RPG Codex, but I do also have a forum home base which is slightly secret, not 100% open. If you want to know about that, if you think that's what would interest you, join the Discord. Even if you're not super comfortable with Discord, you can just leave it immediately afterwards, I don't care, but this is how I've got to find you and let you in. Just go in there and say, hey Anthony, I heard about the Anthony forum, can I please just get in and read the stuff you've done there? And it's a fair bit, we're on 1,600, 1,700 posts right now. If you like me, there's a lot of backlogged writing from me there. Again, I'm not totally idle, I'm just bad at keeping all of you updated, and yeah, I have this issue with not having a front-facing home profile right now. Backlogged was that. We lost it. Oh, a nice way you could just find me in the wild without running into my friends or whatever. And we'll just see what we can do about that going forwards, but yeah, I think I've caught you up on everything other than the channel that's going on, and yeah, I should probably just start talking about the video game, and some other stuff might occur to me as we're going, we'll just see. But this was a channel made to talk about video games in general as we go through them. Yeah, that's right, the things I wanted to talk about today in a video were just kind of a reiteration of our mission statement in relation to some things that annoy me that we were talking about recently. Just things that I've talked about before as well, which are probably just helpful to reiterate and elaborate upon. And then we can talk about strategy games in general, some stuff that comes to my mind when looking at this one. We were talking about Jacob Geller comes up a bit, but also Tim Rogers now and then. We were talking about Tim Rogers, a term I hadn't heard before. I don't know if they called it this at the time, but I think it's a useful frame for thinking. Someone said just today that Tim Rogers invented new game journalism, which is basically his blog posts from the 2000s, which are all about himself and living in Japan, which tangentially he ties into video games, which were basically video essays down on text before he optimized the form. My friend said he invented the video essay. Maybe that's true as well. I don't know if he did video stuff then. I lose track of it all. It's so much to keep up with. It's exhausting. Join the Discord and whatever else to talk to us and learn about this stuff. I don't have it all in my head at any given time. I know a lot of knowledgeable people who know certain issues better than me. Here's this level's gimmick, by the way. You're meant to do this kind of piece by piece, probably not build a full max tech army before you call the first of them. But I'm just being a metagaming asshole and using this as a vlog video, so I've taken it maximally easy. Yeah, just kind of a reiterated mission statement is that I do not aspire to do new game journalism, which is basically the Tim Rogers blog, pretend to be a Murakami character as you kind of tangentially relate it to, like, oh, well, here's my experience of the game, like, here's my gay Francis Ha neurotic life story, which I'm selling to you as some so goddamn cool you should wish you were me thing. Like, no, these videos are about me relating to the game, but just the fact that it's modulated, refracted, regulated, reflected, whatever, through a person should not be enough to make it inherently interesting. Like, I am a unique angle of looking at a video game, but not just because I am another person and, oh, well, every person just has their own story and it's all about how it's special to you. Like, no, the reason you should be listening to me, well, I can't say you should be, you either want to or not. My angle will always just be that I hope to, actually know better. And yeah, I aspire to do what is basically old school journalism, but better, and having the game in front of me is just to keep me honest. Now and then I can invoke a bit of new school, like, oh, well, here's my story, but there are not really many games I have a remotely notable personal relationship with. The furthest I would go with that is basically, like, Halo, Majora's Mask, Mario 64, a very small number of games I could say that I grew up with. And even then, it's not really that it maps to anything personal in my life. What I can say about grew up with, what I mean by that is basically my ability to and how I made sense of these things changed over time, and so where I was at different points in life as relates to Halo and a few other things can be relevant just in the sense of my own developing appreciation for it. And if you want a kind of conceptual history of how I make sense of a particular game, I could actually talk about my life a bit. To a very limited extent, I have done that with stories like the Mothership guy in relation to Halo, but it's really not a lot of that, and I really do hate Tim Rogers for his kind of gross, sentimentalized life narrative story, kind of weird sentimental pornography intermixed with making sense of a video game. I think that's really just garbage work. There are interesting people talking around or maybe about video games online, but not many. What kind of brought some of this to mind as well is that DBDR, one of my favorite channels on YouTube, if you don't know, the deeply depressed fat ginger American guy who's kind of in the black pill sphere, he left us and he's gonna be coming back, and I'm very excited for that. What I can say about him is I am very excited at the prospect of him making more videos, but yeah, that has basically nothing to do with video games. His personal experiences with video games are deeply interesting to me, but just because he is interesting as a person, and how do I put this exactly? Yeah, I just love watching the depressed guy talk over the shittest video games ever. Stuff like bloody Dead by Daylight and Call of Duty Zombies, talking about how when he was a fat, depressed teenager, he would sit inside while his mother was at work and he would just play Call of Duty, getting abused by his shithead friends. That's a compelling story, and yeah, the fact it's a video game really doesn't matter to me, doesn't interest me. That's just a life story, and I suppose Tim Rogers would say that his life story is inherently interesting, just it's not, he sucks, I hate him. Sorry if this is very tangential, but yeah, just again, a reiteration of the mission statement, which is a bit of a murky thing. It's kind of, yeah, I want to give you this human-anchored and oriented experience of the thing, but the objective here is to be ultimately analytical through being human. Like, keeping it personal is a way of keeping it real with me. I'm keeping myself honest. Again, this isn't about like, oh, well, Anthony is just so interesting, you're here to watch him. If you do just have like a DBDR-like relationship with me, that's completely fine, but, you know, I try to keep my life out of this, not because I'm private, just because I think it's not relevant, and couldn't really enrich what's going on.
Rhinos ready. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, sorry if you were interested in this level and I've just kind of ruined it by giving you this rambling update on where I'm at, but you can always skip this. You know where the right arrow key on your keyboard is.
Holy hell, they have locusts!
Holy hell, they have locusts. Yeah, let's look out for that. Have one guy run down and collect stuff, these guys here. I'm very on top of this. I played this game a fair bit. I know how all the missions play out more or less. Holy hell, locusts. Yeah, I think we've got this.
Need immediate support.
Which one? Oh yeah. You get the magic healing aura.
Show that 2 more rhinos will be necessary to open a hole big enough. The final 2 positions have been marked.
Okay. Science girl says we need 2 more rhinos, whatever.
The Covenant must have figured out what we're doing. We're gonna need a larger force to take those locations.
I think we're doing fine, Sergeant Forge.
Rhino received. It's en route.
Why don't I just keep like 2 vehicles there? And everyone else just roll this way.
Rolling.
Have I got all the upgrades? Yeah, all the ones I'm using. And we're maxed unit cap, maxed everything. Hey, I don't need that anymore. Can't build air units, so just build more supplies.
Local units.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot to say there. It's just the mission statement again. I believe that there's just value in what really should be the most direct form of engagement for anything. Like, yeah, this should just be a real easy put the bag on the table demand to any critic. Like, yeah, just, can you just like play the game in front of me and say what comes to your mind so I can tell you're like a halfway sentient human? We really don't get that from anybody. It's very sad how there's very little potential value seen in this kind of thing. I mean, the goons started the Let's Play, but if you ever tried to listen to one, those people don't have souls or brains, they all suck. When I started doing this, one person said like, oh, so you're doing a goon Let's Play, and I'm like, well, if they had created a standard that was basically what I think the industry needs, I wouldn't feel compelled to do this. I'm being the change I want to see, and when people look at these videos, they don't tell me, oh hey, I like your goon Let's Play that's not affiliated with something awful, Anthony. They say like, hey, you've made something fundamentally different and really cool. People seem to agree with me on that this is, yeah, this is a real market. That's not the plasma tank, Anthony, you idiot, it's this one. We'll keep one anti-air thing there. Yeah, just reiterating, it's stuff you probably already know, but it's been a while and I'm just getting back into the groove of things. I've had better episodes where I'm more on the ball, sharing interesting ideas, but this is me just basically building back my comfort with speaking into the microphone after a extended break, after the woke went and hit us with that setback. Yeah, so what's been on my mind? Again, just how worthless most people are at what should be an easy thing, talking into the microphone about video games. And the other thought on my mind, what I've just been saying a lot to the good people at the decks. When attacking RPGs, which is naturally what I do with the decks because I don't like them, but like people who let me speak, I don't talk about things other than RPGs there, that would be rude. I talk about them, and I talk about how I dislike them, how they bore, disappoint, and upset me, and how I think people make all the wrong things of them, and how we can work that into what we're talking about today, or should be. What I make of Halo Wars is this subject of formality and convention, and the relationship of people making games and games once they're made and they become history that we have to make sense of, what we think of them. I don't really think it's necessary to do that, actually. You know, I'm actually going to end this level, and that can be the talk of the next one. We'll go into this subject of formality briefly, and yeah, the next level's not very interesting, but it has a gimmick, we'll wrap it up. And then the one after that, I think, actually gets interesting. That should be fun. Sorry again if this has been boring, I'm not super happy with how this video has turned out, but yeah, I had to catch you up on a few things, and it's been a while. Just appreciate that this is me trying. We're going to get there, people.
Enemy engagement.
Do you like the look of this game? Is it a nice thing to just have on while I talk? It's nice enough for me. I'm having a decent time playing it while you guys listen, while I try to remember all this stuff for you guys. I hope you at the very least don't mind me having it on. And also, as I was saying earlier, I hope you don't feel like I'm not giving due respect to this not particularly interesting game. Yeah, this is one of our last levels in this kind of biome with all the trees and the concrete and the very nice colors, if you ask me. This is as good as the game looks.
Cross your fingers.
Okay, let's do it.
Firing all rhinos in 3, 2, 1.
Get 'em. Pew, pew, pew.
The dome power supply is overloaded. We got it.
And now this bit.
Knack is coming online. Single turret available.
Now we get God mode with the artillery and blow up this base, which has... The idea is, this is where they've been harassing us from all game. Now we get our little moment of revenge. No more banshees to come get us. Just blow up everything.
Knack fully online. All rounds loaded. I'll take out the remaining structures.
And we did it. That was not very challenging, obviously. I spent the whole time talking, didn't lose any units. Very, very easy.
Nice work. Let's get down there and see what the Covenant found so damn interesting.
Well, I've got all those issues off my mind, so I can speak more freely next time. I hope you appreciate that I felt a bit of pressure here. How long did that take? Does it say 34 minutes? Alright, I just spoke for 34 minutes not getting to the goddamn game. Sorry about that, people. I'm not perfect, but yeah, just check out the Discord, ask me about the forum. I've been trying to keep busy, I've been writing and a few other things, and yeah, I've enjoyed all of that decently, but yeah, I have to get greater project stuff happening, so this video will go up shortly, the podcast will go up, and I will generally just, yeah, get back to you guys with more regular stuff so we can, prod more and more out of myself and have a really interesting and exciting presence online doing all kinds of things. Big stuff is coming. I intend to actually do things some more, and yeah, if you guys like what I do, please just write comments under this saying this video was shit and I need to do better and upload more often and all that other stuff I know but don't feel pressured enough about, apparently. So yeah, this is hopefully the ball rolling again, and more videos will follow this shortly. Thanks for bearing with me.